because apparently we should be going to Korea soon and start doing this as well. I'm thinking of maybe going to Korea around just for planning purposes, maybe around assuming that they don't have any quarantine for visitors to the country. Anyways, by then there should be some kind of vaccine, and South Korea being very, very advanced in terms of pandemic management. Maybe around March and April, when there's a springtime in Korea, we could go there and do a fochi, chanchi, or something like that. That is assuming that there will be a change in management in this country comes November. If there's no change, I don't know it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So you better pray. You Koreans better pray if you want us to go over there. We can't do anything until until it's under the proper circumstances. All right. Today is the 23rd of August, 2020. We are coming to you from Rosemead, California, at Way Mountain Temple. We are continuing to discuss the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, Chapter 7, Faculties and Conditions, slide 503. This is about Master YongHua, or Xuanjue. He's more famous under the name of YongHua, and a little bit later we look into his famous works, Song of Enlightenment, just a little bit of it, to get a flavor of why he's so famous and why it's so popular. So YongHua, before his name, known as YongHua, his Dharma name was Xuanjue. He came to see the Sixth Patriarch, and the Sixth Patriarch certified him to be enlightened. And so they do a lot of chan sparring, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he was holding his own. If you've been tuning in the last couple weekends, you can see that whatever Master Huineng threw at him, he sent it right back. So he's kind of cool. So he's very competent as a Chan master. So that's why he's highly revered by the Chinese. Okay, for me personally, I used to be impressed because of his fame. He's so famous in the Chinese culture. He came and and got certified and held his own, and to the point where Master Huineng had to sort of beg him to stay on for at least one night. Now, what I don't get is why it's only one night. I would have asked for a week or two, but Master Huineng knew better. He says at least one night. So whatever happened in one night, we don't know, and that's the work of patriarchs. So I assure you, in the state of Master Huineng, I have no clue what he did for one night. They never waste time. They don't ask you to stay unless there's a reason for it. You better believe it. It's way beyond our comprehension, okay? Way beyond mine at least. But it's fascinating so that he asked YongHua to stay one night when YongHua basically sat down and said, this monk, this famous monk speaking Dharma is of no use to me. I'm not getting any of it. So I'm going to leave. So Master Huineng had to beg him. Basically, he said, please stay one night at least. So the Chinese very polite, because of a different stature. You have a big shot, a big monk, okay, well known, a much bigger stature than YongHua, and to ask him to stay one night, he cannot say no, basically. So you see the chess moves from the sixth patriarch, arranging for this guy to stay at least one more night, for whatever the reason it is to benefit this guy. Okay? So that's what you should get out of it. It's too bad that this guy, the guy who transcribed, who recorded this sutra, Fa, have no clues either. Okay? If I were him, I would come, to Master Huineng's bedroom and say, teacher, why did you do that? I'm recording. Would you like me to quote you? Huh? Instead of just me writing on my own? Okay? That's what I would have done. It would have been so much more interesting. But we don't have the blessings, I guess, to be privy to this kind of Dharma that Master Huineng used to give to YongHua. It's too bad, okay? That's life. We simply are not good enough. But you are not good enough. Me neither. But anyway, so YongHua stayed one night, and so this is what I picked off on slide 503. Let's continue. Sutra text. During his life, this time he was called the One Enlightened overnight, and later he wrote the song of certifying to the way, which circulated widely in the world.
十位一宿觉，后著正道歌，盛行于世。
一休, you pronounce it wrong again.
就
You just say, stand your ground, say, Master, I know I'm a flunky, but you don't know Chinese as well as I do. I can take it, I will get you back later, but... So commentary in 504. During his time, he was called the One Enlightened overnight. 十位一休觉. I believe, and later he wrote the song of certifying to in the way, widely in the world. The One Enlightened overnight. I hesitant with this translation. The Chinese is 一休觉. Okay. Does it really mean 一休 is one night, 觉 is enlightenment? Does it really mean that enlightened overnight? Because remember, he's enlightened already. So it's not like, thanks to the sixth patriarch, he became enlightened. He was enlightened. Okay? It's after that, when he met with the sixth patriarch tried to tell him something, but he didn't get it. He didn't get it at all. Okay? But to say that one xiu jue is enlightened overnight, I'm not sure that I agree with that kind of translation. Yi xiu is one night, enlightenment. How would you translate it? To me, he is enlightened, and then he stayed one more night. It's more accurate than saying, I'm enlightened because I stayed over one night. This is what's wrong with this translation. It gave me the impression that this guy became enlightened because he stayed over one night. No, actually, it's a bad name, you ask me, because you enlightened and you only stay one night. Shame on you. How could you miss the boat Does it make sense to you? This is to me, if you ask me why the Chinese name is Yi Xiu Jue, one night enlightenment, is actually to me, if you translate it as the one enlightened overnight, is actually a praise. To me, Yi Xiu Jue is actually a little bit derogative. Comments, please. It's hot today, I know, and you had a real good lunch today because it's the Dharma assembly, Ulaanbaatar in particular. But what do you think? How would you translate it? The meaning of this Yi Xiu Jue to me is that this guy became enlightened under the sixth patriarch, and he chose to stay over one night only. That bothers the heck out of me. You understand my problem? No? What's the problem? Are you referring to me, sir? What? Huh? You see the problem? You have the greatest teacher of all times. He found him, and he says, yes, he's a great teacher. He certified me. And then he only stayed over one night. That's it. What's wrong with that? It goes against the unspoken rule of Chinese Chan. What rule is that? Orange. Maybe the Chinese don't get it anymore.
Does it have to do with respecting your master or something?
Along that line.
I have a question though. If he broke the rule, why did the sixth patriarch make him the next patriarch? If he had broken this rule.
He's so advanced. Patriarchs comes in different levels, in different colors, and in different persuasions. Some are better than others. The patriarchs basically on-the-job training, trainees. Okay? So I know I should be more reverent, but in keeping with the American tradition, we're very irreverent. But the patriarchs have certain jobs to do. They're there for a reason. But if you look, for example, my master is my idol. No two ways about it. I have yet to see anyone in recent memory, recent history, who is as good as he is. I have a chance to meet in person and receive instructions a few times, and that changed my life. Okay. But there are many patriarchs, to me, who are not measuring up to my master standards. Okay, so that's why I'm sound a little bit more critical of these people, because my master's bar is so high. Okay, and I know that the Chinese are too polite to point it out, but I feel it's one of my jobs is to point out that my Master YongHua's level is so high that if you want to look for some advanced Buddha Dharma, Mahayana, read up on him. It's well worth your time. If you could, read it in Chinese. Don't read it in translated languages. Okay? So that's why I'm saying these things. You cannot equate Master Hsuan Hua, for example, with Venerable Xu Yun. It's night and day, if you ask me. Okay? Even though Master Xu Yun is Master Hsuan Hua's predecessor, but you can tell right away that something is unusual. Master Hsuan Hua never really received training from Master Xu Yun until after he was designated as the incoming patriarch. That's when he learned something from Master Xu Yun. But I can assure you it's not Kung Fu, it's not Samadhi, it's not whatever. I believe it has to be administrative. It saves time to see what the patriarch has to deal with in his temple, with thousands of people there. Okay, so it's a time saver in my humble opinion. But in terms of Kung Fu, it's no comparison. Okay, so this to me, this one the Chinese says 一修觉, it's not he's become enlightened overnight. It's like one night enlightenment, meaning that he became enlightened under a great teacher and he stayed there only one night. Even my master, after he became certified by his predecessor, Master Xu Yun, he stayed there for a while because Master Xu Yun asked him to stay there. So he stayed. What he learned, I don't think much, you ask me. Because Xu Yun level is too low compared to my master's level. So I'm sure, administration, who cares? At the patriarch's level, doesn't matter. Okay, but it shows my master's class that he stayed on for some time so that Master Xu Yun doesn't lose face. Master Xu Yun says, stay on. So Master Hsuan Hua says, okay. But Master Huineng here in Xuan Jue's case, he says, at least one night. I beg you, to that level. So I find it funny. I find that Xuan Jue didn't get it at all. So I don't know how to translate this, but certainly not overnight. Okay, the simple translation for me is one night after enlightenment. To me, is a much better translation. But then the Chinese would not like me for that. They would be offended. Because I'm disappointed. So what is this rule here, sir? What is the rule of thumb that the Chinese Chan has that Xuan Jue violated? Does anyone know? He left on his own. That's a big no-no, if you ask me. You don't leave unless you're told, unless you're kicked out. You don't leave. Agree or disagree? When you're kicked out, you have no choice, right? You're not good enough. Your blessings run out. Fine, no choice. Okay? I was quasi-kicked out. I have to leave, okay? Because they forced me to do things that I felt compelled that they are not entitled to force me to do those things in exchange for a roof over my head, in exchange for food, in exchange for clothing, in exchange for disciples. Ain't worth it to me. Okay, but for this person here to leave, okay, without being sent away, to me, is what? Shows shallowness of comprehension. Let me ask you, who can certify you after you become enlightened? Who can certify you? You know anyone who can certify you? I don't. Okay? So it's very hard to find someone who can certify you. And someone as famous as Master Huineng, who can certify you. It's just like, hey, the rest of your life you have this label, in the clothes you wear. Certified by Master Huineng. It's forever. You know that. Agree, disagree? This is forever. The rest of eternity, until you become a Buddha, you have been certified by Master Huineng. It's forever, trust me. No one can ever change that. No one. Is that clear? That's how big of a gift he received from this great master. Show your gratitude. You really understand how big of a gift that was. Where's your gratitude? See, that's why I'm critical. You really have wisdom, you are enlightened. Where's your gratitude? Yes.
What's the main teaching point of this story with Master YongHua if he didn't learn much but kept going on to be a great master?
The teaching point is that he could be better. The song of enlightenment could be a lot deeper. The Chinese, they're so easily impressed. And when we go into the song of enlightenment, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay? But I wish that he stayed on a little bit longer, because I like to see what difference it would be in the song of enlightenment. Okay? So he violated this rule in the Chan school, the Chan world. Okay? Chan world is that, number one, you seek a good no advisor. Yes? Once you found one who can help you, what do? You don't quit. You don't leave unless he tells you so, unless he orders you to leave. Is it clear? Why? Why aren't you supposed to leave? Orange.
You should respect your master's time and investment in you.
Respect your master's time, his investments in you? Yes. Blue?
More to teach you.
Huh?
He has more that he intends to teach you.
If he feels that he can't help you, he would immediately send you away. He would never waste your time.
Right.
Never, ever. Okay? Especially when you meet the great teachers like Master Huineng, you can rest assured, okay, they never waste your time. And that's what happened to Ma Zu, to Shu Tou, and all those great masters. He said, stay here, and it's time for you to go. Move on. And so you ask, where do I go? This is very Chinese Chan, you will. Where do I go? And the master says, well, that mountain over there, 10,000 miles away. Go, if you have the legs. But if you leave without being asked, without being kicked out, okay? Sometimes kicking you out is also to help you. Don't take it personally, okay? Sometimes they have to kick you out. So I do believe that my master arranged for me to be kicked out. I'm so grateful, let me assure you. Okay? I would not like to, I cannot survive in a Chinese environment. I may look Chinese, but I'm not Chinese. Okay? So the rule of thumb is that you don't leave. Okay? Shame on you if you leave. Agree or disagree? Okay? So that's why this surname, this nickname, One Night Enlightenment, is actually, to me, derogative. He stayed only one night after enlightenment. Meaning, he doesn't have enough blessings. Okay? He didn't plan enough blessings with Master Huineng, so that when Master Huineng was speaking Dharma, he sat there and listened and said, "What's this about? I don't like it. It's a waste of my time. Are you kidding me?" Master Huineng sitting there speaking Dharma and wasting your time when you sit there in front of him? I think not. Never. Is that clear? So that's why, yes, please take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm disappointed. Don't imitate this person, One Night Enlightenment, okay? One night, I would translate his name, okay, as one night after, between parentheses, after enlightenment. Okay? That's much more accurate. One night only before, parentheses, only, between parentheses, only one night, between parentheses, after enlightenment. And that's how I would translate it. And yet, in my comment here in 504, number 504, yet he was considered to be the seventh patriarch, even though he didn't learn much from the sixth patriarch. Not quite, not quite. Remember, he stayed one night. He learned something. Master Huineng taught him something one night. And remember, the fifth patriarch only taught the sixth patriarch what? Less than one night. You see that? So that tradition, from 5 to 6 is less one night, and 6 to 7, one night only. All right? So the commentary ignored this. He didn't really learn from the sixth patriarch. I disagree now. I say he learned something in one night only, but we don't know about. Okay? It's not recorded. And maybe that's what helped him come up with the Song of Enlightenment later. We don't know. Okay? Yeah. Okay, next, 505. So before we move on to the next person, I decided to look at the Song of Enlightenment to kind of peek into the state of mind of this seventh patriarch. And I started doing that with help from my disciples, Chinese knowledgeable disciples, Chinese-speaking disciples. And then I changed my mind. I said, maybe I would hold it and then explain this by itself. And then recently I changed my mind again. I'm very wishy-washy. Decided I might as well explain a little bit of it because I don't have time to go through the entire Song of Enlightenment. I'm not that interested. Okay? But for the sake of it, I think it's very interesting to look into the Song of Enlightenment. Okay, unless you want to skip it, I have no problems. Okay, let's take a vote. Shall we continue or shall we skip to chapter 8? Skip it, I heard. One skip. One continue, offsetting. Continue, Korean wait. Two skips, two continues. The Chinese people say, I put the work into this, continue please. So Chinese. Yes. 4-2, continue. Do I hear skip? Okay, continue then. You're so opinionated. You know how famous, how big this song Enlightenment is? It's humongous. It is. In the Chinese Chan world, song Enlightenment is so revered. Okay? It's very special. So I think it's worth it. Since we don't have time to go through all of it, I think to go through part of it will give us some insights into what this his level is. Okay? All right. So, have you not seen the man of the way, who study the way has ended and abide at ease, does nothing?
君不见，绝学无为贤道人，不除妄想不求真，无名实性即佛性，幻化空身即法身。
Who does not banish false thoughts, nor seek the true. For him, the real nature of ignorance is the Buddha nature, and the empty body, illusory transformation, is the Dharma body. What? No commentary? Am I supposed to explain this to you? Skip? Yeah, I told you to skip. Now you're complaining. At least we read it. How's that? It's very, very beautiful. 君不见. 君 is a polite term. Superior one. Noble one. Chun is a classy, noble person. 不见. 绝学无为贤道人. Have you not seen the man of the way, okay, who study of the way has ended? Abiding by ease does nothing. I think abiding is better than abide. Do abiding. It's much more active. Okay? It's a state, not a verb. Okay? Abide is a verb, it's an action. You choose to abide. Abiding is a constant state. All right? This, have you seen? Have you not seen? Okay, a man of the way. This man is very rare. You cannot recognize it. That's why he started by saying, "Have you not seen the man of the way?" They're very rare to find. They're very hard to find. And if they're in front of you, you can't recognize them. That's why you've not seen the man of the way. Okay, what does he do? He has no more study, meaning that there's nothing else for him to learn. Okay, meaning he's enlightened already. Okay, he does nothing. Wu Wei, he does nothing. Okay, let me explain to you Chinese. The Chinese is so beautiful. It's so precise. Okay, So that's why this song is so famous, this work is so famous. 觉学 is, in a Chinese, in a Buddhist jargon, he says, this person here is beyond study. Okay? It means that it's you in Buddhism. You don't say who has nothing to learn, who has ended his learning, who has ended his studies. It refers to someone who is enlightened. Okay, whether it's small enlightenment or big enlightenment. That's the context of the Buddhist jargon, Buddhist concept, 无觉. Okay. Or 无学 or 觉学, okay? Meaning here, he has terminated all learning. Okay? It is an honorific title. 觉学, 无学 is arhat. 觉学 here is enlightenment. Big enlightenment. Okay? He's terminated, he's ended all studies. Why do you say ended all studies? Does anyone know? 无学 is different. 无 is no learning. Okay? 觉学 is different from 无学. So the arhats are called 无学. Okay? He chooses to use 觉学. Okay? Who has terminated all studies. Why? Let me explain for you. I don't expect you to get this. The arhats are called 无学. Okay, below fourth stage arhat is called 有学. Because below fourth stage, you still have to learn. When you reach fourth stage, it's 无学 because it's nothing to learn. It's all empty anyway. Is that clear? So in the Hinayana spectrum, okay, you have with studies, with a lot of studies, first stage through third stage arhats. This is very important, boys and girls, okay? It's a very important distinction that even the Chinese don't get it, okay? I'm elaborating for you because then you can go back and when the Chinese try to impress you, or the Korean try to impress you, say, we have the Mahayana, then you can tell them, you may have Mahayana text, but we understand Mahayana. Okay, so 无学 is that you get 有学 is you still have, remind yourself, you still have a lot to learn. 无学 is that you reach a state where there's no one to learn anymore. That's 无学. Meaning there's no self to learn anymore. That's the secret. You see that? They call it 无学 because it's not because they're not learning. It's just that there's no one to learn anymore. Is that clear? The Chinese very, very subtle. Be careful. Do not look down upon the Chinese. They're a lot more subtle than we realize, than most people realize. Very subtle. 无学 is fourth stage arhat because there's no more self. Therefore, what's there to study? Who's doing the studying? You got that? That's all it means. It's still a lot more, but there's no one who's doing the studies anymore. Beyond, fourth stage and beyond, is no one doing studies anymore. Is that clear? It's not a contradiction in terms. It is so, so clever. You got that? Chinese don't understand. Disagree with me. Chinese sheeps, that's what I have. Yes, Blue. Yeah, there's no self who's doing the studies anymore.
Right.
That's right. That's why it says 无学. Who? No one studying. Isn't it beautiful? And then you go to Master YongHua's work. He says, 绝学. He doesn't say 无学, but 绝学. 绝学 is next level. Why 绝学? Yes. Give him a microphone.
You said it's terminated study, right?
绝学 is who has exhausted all studying.
But you said it's no self, so the self doesn't study or something.
无学 is down here, 绝学 is up here.
Wait, Jueshui is what he said, is what the six...
绝学 is who has exhausted all learning.
Oh, so he's
无学 is who is not learning.
I mean, I get it, I think.
Okay? So I asked you, why does he call it 绝学?
Because he already knows everything.
Okay, if I explain to you, don't tell the Chinese people. Is that a deal?
Yes.
I explain to you in Vietnamese just in case. 绝学 means that you have exhausted all the learning necessary to uncover your Buddha nature. Okay? Yeah. 无学, you have no self, but you still have to learn in order to see your Buddha nature. Okay? It's a lot more work after 无学. I mean, billions of lifetimes of work, if you will. Don't take it lightly, it's a lot of work. So you work until you get where 绝学, where you exhausted all learning. Okay? Because you've seen your home already. Okay? You came home already. You came back to your Buddha nature already. Okay? It's no more. It's no more studies. That's it. You've seen the Buddha nature. Okay? Does it make sense? Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah. You sure you want me to continue? If I dissect this, it's going to take forever. Even because, I'm demonstrating to you, even the Chinese don't get it. No matter how proud they are of their inheritance and their culture, we don't get it anymore. Okay? Wu Wei, okay? Wu Wei is he really does nothing, but actually Wu Wei, who is unconditioned, okay? In the state, who abide in condition, okay? Xian is ease, leisure, okay? 道人. So this is a person, okay? This is a person who has exhausted all learning, all the necessary learning in order to see their Buddha nature. That's why once you see your Buddha nature, then according to this terminology, you have exhausted all learning necessary for that. Okay, so between fourth stage Arhat and enlightenment, big enlightenment, you still have a lot of study to do. Is it clear? For you to uncover your Buddha nature. This is very important. Okay? And once you become enlightened, okay, everything you do is no karmas. Wu Wei is no karmas. So you can translate all you want. You can call it there's nothing, unconditioned, whatever. It only means that this person no longer creates karma. All right? And then, so don't worry so much about English translation. So you can leave this alone, and then you can understand for yourself, and then you pretend to ask questions from a lecture and see if they understand the Chinese. Xian here is to live leisurely. Meaning what? What does it mean to you? Contrary to you, he has no more stress. He could have 3,000 disciples, could have 3,000 temples, no stress. That's what's relevant to you. Don't worry about, leisure. It's stress. No need for yogas, no need for qigong, no need for tai chi, no need for the gym, because no stress. Xian is leisure, okay? No matter what happens, he's leisurely. So that's why it's funny, but I tell you, in our compartment, the monks and nuns who are fully ordained are not supposed to run. Why not? Because Xian, everything appears leisurely. Okay? It's class. Okay? You want in terms of American jargon, it's class. Xian is class. All right? That's why you don't run. It's no rush. Let them wait. What's the hurry? The ceremony is starting, let them wait. Or let them get started. Doesn't matter. Stock market's crashing? So what? You're going to lose billions of dollars? Big deal. You see that? No stress, no rush, leisurely. Wouldn't you like to live like that? That you lose $1 billion and you don't even bat an eye? I don't understand that state. I'm too poor to be able to imagine in my wildest imaginations. That's the state of this enlightened person. Xian, so leisurely, no matter what happens. To me, it's class. Can't always rush for time, for money, for I don't know what. I'm always rush. 道人 道人 is the man of the way. His life is the way. It's not cultivating. You understand? It's not cultivating. He just lives the way. Isn't that beautiful? Can you encapsulate the state of the enlightenment into one sentence like this? It is beautiful. So don't you dare think that the seventh patriarch is an idiot. He's not. He's superior monk. Okay? For this kind of work. It's incredible. Okay? 不除妄想不求真 who does not banish false thought nor seek the truth. That's very good. Okay? Why doesn't he banish false thoughts? Because there's none to banish. Who's not seeking the truth? Why not seek the truth? Because you have it already. Why do you have to seek? If you're rich already, why are you still trying to make money? Uh-oh, Andres is disagreeing. Speaking of money, yes, sir.
Well, yeah, like there's a lot of rich people who want to be richer, so they're like, oh, you got to keep getting more rich and more rich. And that's why people can be so greedy sometimes. Because even if they have a lot, they still feel like they want more and more.
But it's nice to be rich.
Yeah, but a lot of time they don't feel like they're rich because there's always someone richer, and they say, oh, I want to get more.
You don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'm poor, so that I dream of riches and champagne and caviar. Okay? Be careful. Don't make comments unless you know what you're talking about. You're poor, just like me. And that's not comment by the rich, except that it would be so nice. 无明实性即佛性. For him, the real nature of ignorance is the Buddha nature. That's a very good translation. Okay, I don't blame them for the first part here. 觉学无为贤道人 here is extremely profound. Okay, this person who translated this does not understand the state. That's why they cannot translate it properly, and I can't either. But the rest is classic Mahayana teaching. Okay, so for you to even listen to this is incredible blessings. Okay, you should be glad that we are reading this. So the two of you who voted against this, shame on you. Agree or disagree? 幻化共生即法身. So the empty body, illusory transformation, is a Dharma body. Also very good translation. This is classic Mahayana principles. Okay? Recognize as what they are. So far, so good. It means that, do you want me to explain? Because if I explain too much, we won't be able to budge from slide to side. Now the one who voted against it, go on. But if I explain too much, then you will embarrass the Chinese, because the Chinese don't think they get it, but they don't. And this person who looks at ignorance, okay, and the true nature, okay, is actually the Buddha nature. It means this, that your Buddha nature has both ignorance as well as the true nature itself. It's both. Is it clear? So that's why you don't reject stupid people. Because stupid people is also Buddha. I don't know why, but exactly what they're saying here. I feel stupid people have no right to become Buddhas. Shut up. Okay? Because if you've seen enough stupid people, he says, you have no right to be here. Okay, get out of here. I know I'm not supposed to kick you away, but you should go. Okay, 实性 is your true nature. Okay? Your Buddha nature has the true nature, okay, the 实性, the true nature, as well as ignorance, intertwined. All right? It is the secret of Mahayana that no one gets unless you go to high-level Mahayana. It's a code. This is a secret code in Mahayana. That's why when you hear people say, stupid people have no right to be here, that person is very stupid. 幻化共生即法生. This 幻化 is this false transformation. The body we have is but a false transformation. Whatever you see in the mirror, okay, is but an illusion. Okay? 共生 is an illusion. Its true nature is empty. The body you have is actually empty. So that's why in the future, if you go to a real temple, it's only one seat, because all of you are empty. Get it, Alung? Alung is so impressed. Look at that. He's so excited. God, I'm learning so much of Mahayana, he says. I'm so excited. Look at that. Isn't that exciting, huh, boy? Give him some ice cream. Jesus. You see that? The body you have, if you are enlightened, then you see that your body is actually empty. Okay? And it's only an illusion. Do I hear any second? See what I mean? Stupid people. Next, 506. In the Dharma body's enlightenment, there is not a single thing. At its source, the inherent nature is the Buddha of divine innocence. The five skandhas, like floating clouds, are empty, come and go. The three poisons, like bubbles, are unreal, rise and sink. So poetic.
法身觉了无一物，本源自性天真佛。五音浮云空去来，三毒水泡须出没。
You miss out on how poetic, how rich the Chinese sound is. At least the way the Chinese recite it. If you really hear me recite it, say what? Say what? Good thing we have Chinese people who don't understand the song enlightenment. 法身, the Dharma body, 觉了无一物. This Dharma body, okay, there's no Dharma body until you become enlightened. Until you become enlightened, the concept of Dharma body doesn't mean anything to you. Okay? It's no way to explain to you what the Dharma body is. Okay? Like, it's no way for us to explain to the Mormons who Buddha is. It's not possible. Okay? So this Dharma body, this Fa Shen, the Dharma body, is something that only enlightened people have a chance to understand. Okay, and once you understand, okay, Liao is under 10. You see that there isn't a thing at all. What is that called? It isn't a thing, meaning that it's called true emptiness. This is classic Mahayana. This is why it is so revered as a literary work, because it is classical Mahayana concepts put in the form of a poem, of verses. Okay, now you see why the Chinese revere this work. Okay, so you can translate it. Translation is pretty good, but I explain slightly differently for you. This Dharma body, once you become enlightened, you will see the Dharma body. Once you become enlightened, Jue is enlightenment. You would liao. You really understand that there isn't a thing. Wu, yi wu. Okay, not a single thing. It's true emptiness. 本源之心天正佛. At the source, the inherent nature is the Buddha of divine innocence. It's not divine innocence. This is why I disagree with the translation. That's corrected our way every now and then, just to keep these people from thinking they understand it better than we do. Those people, you know. I would not translate Yuan, okay? I would translate it, its original at its original source, okay, the self-nature is the heavenly and true Buddha. Okay? Because my interpretation of the Chinese is slightly different from this Hinayana person, translator. Okay? If you go back, once you become enlightened, you go back to the source, where you came from. Okay? You've been wandering lifetime after lifetime after lifetime in the wheel reincarnation. It's funny, this week someone asked, how can I develop the belief that there is life after death? Okay? Of course there is, because you've been revolving the wheel. Every time you change bodies, you start over and you forget about everything. Okay? So that's why you need to cultivate, because the cultivation is the high water level mark. So that's why you can reach that again very easily. So anyway, so at its original source, the self-nature is the heavenly true Buddha. You got that? Okay, let me explain. So originally, you become enlightened, you see your self-nature. That means you go back to your source. You've been transmigrating all these lifetimes, countless lifetimes in the wheel. Okay? And cultivation help you see your self-nature, which brings you back to when it all started. Okay? You backtrack to your original self, your true self-nature. So far, so good? Okay? And when you reach that the original self-nature is actually heavenly and true Buddha. The true is only one Buddha. That's true. Okay? Not God, not anyone else. Yeah. The Buddha is the only thing that's true. Okay? Tian is heavenly. Heavenly here to me refers to it's a praise. Tian here is heavenly. Yeah. For us, human beings, we live here on earth. So we look up to heaven. We say, oh my God, it would be so nice to be heavenly. Okay? Heavenly music. Yes? Heavenly goddesses, you mean? Not beings. Goddesses are much more interesting. You ask me. Let me compose myself. So you see, this Buddha is so heavenly because it is so desirable. It is so beautiful to us. Can you see that? It is true, and yet it's so desirable because it's heavenly. It is a praise of the Buddha state. It's so beautiful Buddha state. Heavenly means beautiful, exquisite. Not divine. Divine is nonsense. You understand? This is a praise. That's why YongHua, Master YongHua is very special Chan master because he says, you know, this Buddha here, you have no clue what it is. So I'm going to tell you what this Buddha is. Buddha is heavenly. You Christian person, you agree? When you hear the word heavenly, you say, hallelujah, amen. There's nothing better. Yes?
Yes, there's
Thank
nothing
you
better
very
than
much.
heaven.
Yes, don't say anymore. That's all I need from you. I need certification from the Christians.
But there's only one heaven, so.
I told you not to say anything. But go ahead now. Now that we have certification, now we can discuss it as civilized people. Yes, sir. Comment.
Well, there's only one heaven, so there's no comment after that.
He's what? Take a break. You see that? This is very literary Chinese. Tian is heavenly. It's superior to human realm. Human realm, we have nobility, we have emperor, we have all those nice things, right? But it's all pales in comparison to the heavens. So the Buddha here, we can explain it to you, but you can just imagine it's so heavenly. Because you have no idea what it is. So it's heavenly. Heavenly. Isn't there a song, something like that? It's beautiful, no? I like this. Okay. 五音浮云共俱来。五音 is your 5 skandhas. Okay. 浮云 is like the clouds, they are floating. Okay. Actually are empty and they come and go. So I would change the English a little bit for emphasis, okay? Because this person doesn't understand why he's saying these things. He says, the 5 skandhas changes English. The 5 skandhas are like, so you move R to before like, okay? Are like floating clouds, comma, empty, which come and go. That's what he means. And then more beautiful, more emphatic. The 5 skandhas are like floating clouds. One day they're here, a few minutes later they're gone, they go somewhere else. It represents what? Catholic person, Christian person.
According to the Buddhists, maybe it represents the circle of, what do they call it? The circle of life, the circle of we all reincarnation or something like that?
Excellent. Not circle. Jesus. So Christian. It's called the wheel of reincarnation, sir. Okay? Okay. Revolution. Okay? The wheel of reincarnation. So the 5 skandhas, meaning this body, the self, yourself, are just like floating clouds, meaning that it migrates from body to body, from body. The self you have today is a human. Tomorrow will be Mr. T. Private joke. Okay, so as we change bodies, okay, bodies are basically you change bodies, and each time you change, you take on new bodies. 5 skandhas are the self, okay? The self transmigrates from body to body, okay? And that's why they're like floating clouds. They float, they go, okay, without any rhyme or reason, okay? Floating clouds, they just float around, no rhyme or reason. So far, so good. The floating clouds here, not just clouds, but no rhyme or reason. All right? That's why, to me, floating clouds means there's just this emphasis of no purpose. It just floats. Yes, 5 fingers.
Master, in this sentence, why in this sentence, why does it say empty before come and go?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Okay, so the floating clouds, okay? Because all this, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, I am Christian. Yes? I am Buddhist. Yes? I am Alung's father. Yes? Okay? Actually, not. You are empty. See that? See, that's why it's so emphatic. The 5 skandhas are like floating clouds, just empty, which come and grow. Just empty. Okay? And because the Chinese, the emphasis, I put the emphasis differently than the translator. They want to emphasize just empty. Your body, what you see as ego, is actually empty. What you see yourself as Christian, as Buddhist, as emperor, is actually empty. Yes? And you say, oh, I don't get it. Can we move on? Okay, moving on. They come and go, floating, and come and go. Okay? Come and go meaning that, okay, whether you like it or not, you like being a billionaire, you like being a movie star, a famous person, it comes and goes. Yes or no? Famous person. Thank you. I've been certified. Person that comes and goes. Repeat.
When you say empty, doesn't mean that it does not exist. For example, if I see you as empty, does it mean that you not exist or there's no substance?
Don't be insulting. Don't look at, if I see you as empty, how can you see me as empty? I have glasses, I wear yellow after months. Empty means that don't be attached. Okay? Don't try to understand too much. Emptiness, whatever people say empty, don't be alarmed by this empty. Man, what are you talking about? Do you see anything empty here? Of course it's not empty. Empty here, to the Buddhists, only the Buddhists, unfortunately, means don't be attached to it. Don't be attached to your fortune. Yes?
Right.
It's empty.
So-
Empty means don't be attached. Give it to me. Show it to me. You're not attached.
So that means that those candles are like floating clouds, so they're basically, they should not be attached to.
Basically, it means that if you really have wisdom, you see that Apple's car is empty, therefore she can sign it over to you. No, she says. Because Apple did not agree to loan us her car for Jung-in Sunim, the Korean monk, to take a driving test, he failed. Oh, yeah, I know. We're brokenhearted. First time a monk failed a driving test. First time in our history. And I don't think it's empty. I'm still smarting over that. So now his nickname will be the one who failed the driving test. Hey, San Jose, are you still there? Okay, so again, okay, you talk to Sir, you're a Christian guy, Christian or Catholic?
It's actually both because we're the first Christians.
Pick one. You can't.
Catholic Christian.
Huh? Catholic Christian? Okay, that's okay. So do not be impressed by the Buddhist who says, oh, it's all empty anyway. It's all baloney, it's all talk, okay? Emptiness here, empty here means that, are you willing to let go? If you see money is empty, can you let go of your money? Can you let go of your purse? Can you let go of your, you have nothing left, forget it. You broke. I'm not talking emptiness to you. Can you let go of your wife? Brady, are you paying attention? Okay, that's empty. Okay, that's all it means in Buddhism. Do not be impressed by the Buddhism. Oh, it's empty anyway. It's so empty anyway. If it's empty, why do you have an attitude? Okay? It's empty, you don't even talk about it. Right? You sign it over. Without saying a single word. That's true emptiness. Okay? Next. 三毒水报虚出没 The three poisons. Again, I don't like this person's emphasis. They it's not American enough for me. Okay, I'm a lot more animated. The three poisons are just bubbles. Okay, 水报 false It's like without false and rise and sink. All right? Yes, sir. They don't sink?
They don't sink. They only rise. They rise and they disappear. Rise and dissipate.
Rise and pop. How do you say that?
Pop, but I would say, for the purpose of this, I say they rise and disappear.
No, appear and disappear.
Okay, that's good too.
Okay, rise here means appear. Sink here means disappear. This is it's more direct. Okay, so far so good. Can we continue? Is it time to go yet? 4 fingers. Sometimes my eyesight are no good. That's why only 4. Can't hear them. Okay, black.
Master, can you please tell us what the 3 poisons are?
3 poisons are greed, anger, and stupidity. Yes, internet.
Empty is like everything is temporary in that context.
No, it's not temporary. Empty means meaningless, not worth attaching to. That's why I said if you really think it's empty, money is empty, write me a check. A real check, not just $5. Okay? Because I don't see it's empty. But if you see it's empty, write me a check. Okay? Next. 508. Suddenly enlightened, one practices the Tathagata's chant. What? 5? No, 508. Oh yeah, okay. Hey Korea, can you talk now or?
Hello. Can you hear? Hello. 안 들리나 봐.
Yeah, they can hear it. I can hear you.
Hello. 들리세요?
Yeah, we
들리나?
can hear you, Jesus.
아,
Yeah, he's here too. Yes. Go ahead.
It's the previous slide, does it mean? I thought it's more forcefully, not force and.
What?
The previous slide, the translation,
Uh-huh.
is it forcefully appear and disappear, or force and appear and disappear?
It's not force, it's false.
Falsely. Or,
Not
no, I can't
falsely.
speak English anymore. I live in Korea now.
False. And appearing and disappearing. Okay? Not rise and sink. Appearing and disappearing. Okay? It's much more dynamic. Huh? You can tell the translator is a woman. My style is more macho. Boy, it really irks some of my disciples to death. It's macho talk, no? Are we done? Okay. Next one, 507. When certified to real mark, there are no people or dharmas. The Vichy karma is canceled in the kasana. If I were deceiving living beings with untrue words, I bring upon myself having my tongue ripped out for aeons, as many as dust and sand.
正实相，无人法，刹那灭却阿鼻业。若将妄语狂众生，自招拔舌成杀劫。
Very good. So it says, when certified to real mark, okay, real mark is basically don't be scared by all these big words. Real mark. The Buddhists, the Mahayana Buddhists, they try to scare you, try to impress you by using words like real mark, and most of them don't even know what real mark is, so don't be impressed. If they have to use the word real mark, don't be impressed. Okay? It's baloney. Okay? But for this particular Chan master, it's not baloney. Okay? And it says, 正实相. When certified to real mark, meaning after you become enlightened, you see real mark. That's all it means. Okay? That's all you have to remember. Real mark refers to state of enlightenment. That's all. Don't try to explain. Don't try to understand. It's irrelevant. Okay? People try to explain to you what real mark is. Don't listen to them. Okay? Just real mark. Whatever it is, real mark. Okay? That's what it's called. Real mark. It's not God, it's not heavenly, it's not whatever, it's not a hell. It's just real mark. Okay? When you certify to real mark, there are no people or dharmas. That's correct. It's good translation. Chana mie chue abi ye. Okay. In one kasana, okay, again, this translation, they take too much liberty. When you translate, you try to be as literal as faithful to the original intent. When the original in Chinese is chana, zhong, chana, meaning that in one kasana, in a kasana, for emphasis. So that's why in kasana should be put in front, not in the back. That's too much liberties, okay? You're not enlightened. You're not a level of Master YongHua. Don't try to shift words around. Don't try to change the teaching. So I would move it around in a kasana, okay? Chana, mie, jue. So in a kasana, you. What does chui mean here? Does it mean even? Koreans, you know Chinese. You can look it up. Don't depend on the Chinese. Instant, a very short time span. But chui, the Chinese chui character here, I don't quite understand. The use is chui here, right here. That's why I asked the Chinese. You guys should have a Chinese dictionary right there, so that when I ask you a question, you can just do a copy and paste right away. Open another window. Yes? What does chui mean? Okay, away. Okay, I buy that. Okay, that would make sense in this context. Okay, so in a kasana, okay, the vichy karma is extinguished, is put out, is extinguished. Yes. Okay, 3.5 fingers.
가게 각자가 물리칠. The Chinese character is the to subdue.
The truth of youth?
No. It's too early in the morning. It's to subdue. Subdue.
Chinese people, don't try to help her. What did she say? Are you English? What?
Defeat.
Subdue?
Yeah, or defeat.
How come I say truth of youth?
Or defeat. DEFEAT. Defeat.
Oh Lord, why me? Okay.
I want to go home.
You are home, honey. He's not even translating. All the Koreans say, hey, they're joking, they're making fun of us. warning, virus coming your way. Yes, San Jose. QA.
Master, I had a few definitions.
Yes.
A dictionary has however, yet, while, also nevertheless, or even though, and then decline and retreat also.
That's what my first guess is, even.
Yeah, even though is here.
Even though it's even.
Or
It's
unexpectedly.
What? After the mie is what?
There's another one that says unexpectedly.
No, you look at after the mie, but I look at in front of the bi, ye. You combine differently than I do. Your Chinese is different from my Chinese. Mine is not authentic, I admit, but...
So this is according to the dictionary where "che" is actually describing "mie." So it's "mie che abi ye." It's true, it's still in front of the abi ye, but it's "che" in here means, what was it, declining?
Declining?
Yeah, declining, or 掉去了.
Expel.
Like away.
Away.
Yeah. So 灭却 is like destroying and makes it go away.
That's why I pretend to associate it with biye, but to put more emphasis. This is the beautiful thing about Chinese language. Okay? You Chinese interpret it differently than I interpret non-Chinese person. I don't care what the Chinese say. Let's do it our way. Okay, very good. So according to classic Chinese, it says to extinguish away the avicii karma. Yes. However, I prefer to translate it as to extinguish even the avicii karma. It's the same results, but it's more emphasis with even than away. Can you see that? And the Chinese say, no, your Chinese is better than mine. That's not a good thing. It's not Chinese, it's intent. He says that even if you commit the gravest offenses, okay? In one kasana, all the boo-boos you've been doing your entire life, all this time can be extinguished. All the suffering, all the bad things going to happen to you will be gone. Only in Mahayana can you have that. Okay? Only people in Mahayana can make that kind of claim. No one else dares make that. You heard anyone say that? Absolutely not. Right? You say, I go near God, I go near Vishnu, I go near so-and-so, but no one dares say, in one kasana, all the bad things I've done, all gone. And what's all that's left is my virus. Yes, sir. Black.
Thank you. I think three questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
So this level of enlightenment is a high level. It's not a entry level. Must be to
Master YongHua, yes, his level is
extinguish
high.
all. Yeah, and
yes, it's not just a high level. It's the eloquence. As you progress, you become more and more eloquent in
that doesn't
expressing.
Yeah.
That's massaging things. It becomes you, no longer the scriptures. That's why it's so beautiful.
Another question is, why are they using the Sanskrit word for moment, kshana? It just means a moment.
Sanskrit word is kasana.
Kshana, yeah.
Kasana.
Kshana.
Yeah. Kasana.
It just means a moment. So it doesn't make sense why they're using that word, but instead of English.
Very fast, very short time span.
Yeah. What is this waveless karma, savichi? I just looked up the vichi in my Sanskrit dictionary.
Avicii is the worst hells there is. It's not a place that you want to go, even on your vacation. Okay? Even like
not even for
70% off, which is a lot of deals like that nowadays. You know, Princess Cruise Lines, 70% off. You go and you never have to worry about going home.
What about for extreme adventurous people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One way. Yes, sir.
Orange, sorry. So kasana is hell?
No, kasana is very short time span. You see, what happens is these the Buddhists, the enlightened beings, the enlightened people, they talk about these things we don't know what they're talking about. So they said kasana. It's so fast that they said, I tell you what, I call it kasana for your sake. And they say, huh? Huh? And, you know, like these poor white people. And they say, huh? Kasana, can you speak in my language? So then they say kasana. Kasana means that, let's say, in one blink of the eye, okay, that you have about 90 births and deaths. 90 like this. 90 times in one blink of the eye. Can you see that so far? You blink, and that's 90 of these things on the graph. 90 times in one blink. That's how fast it is. Okay? And then kasana is even smaller than, much shorter than a blink of an eye. That's how, it's a fraction of time, if you will. Okay? And that's all I could remember, because beyond that, I said, huh? Okay? So kasana means so fast. Okay? That we can't even keep track of. Okay? In this blink here, you have 90 thoughts cross your mind. That's what it means. Blink of an eye, your mind produces 90 thoughts that you're not even aware of. Francis looked at me, oh my God, Master is so smart. It's not me, you idiot. It's the scriptures. Francis looked at me, oh wow, how come you know so much? Read. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, when I was meditating before I started teaching, and my master told me to teach, you know, I said, one day I have to lecture. So every day I would read the scriptures 1 hour to 2 hours every day for years. So now it's coming back. I don't even know what a kasana is. I just only remember it's very fast. So far, so good? You have to prepare. You can't just, you know, like Master Hui Neng, pick up a book and say, oh, I know what this is. Heck. Then you shouldn't even be here. Okay, so kasana is very, very fast. That's all we have to remember. So fast, we can't even tell. That's short time span, right? That's how fine our thinking, our mind, that's how fast our mind is. Can you imagine if you are a Tai Chi practitioner and you see them You know how many kasanas there is in this? The enlightened people look at that and say, you're too slow. That's how fast the enlightened people are. They can't stand it. You see? That's why enlightened people never do Tai Chi. That's my new discovery today. Yoga is okay. 1, 2. No Tai Chi. Just kidding. I love Tai Chi too. How did Mr. T says? Tai Chi is great. Okay. Okay. So in Kasana, even the avicii karma is extinguished. Okay? I would translate that way. Our style now, no Chinese. I don't care what Chinese says. Okay? 若将王语广众生. If you take, again, I don't like the English. Now I don't like the English. Jiang here is a very Chinese way of expression. Right, David? He's not even paying attention. So you say, if you use untrue words, okay, to deceive living beings. So I translate slightly different from this person, because this person is more traditional English. See, my English is more like a salesmanship. I mean, not salesmanship, but more like emphasis. Okay, because 将王语, Wang Yu is for emphasis. 将王语. Okay, so you take the false words, you take those lies to deceive people. Why so? Because he knows that you're trying to deceive people. So this is very, very stern. 若将王语广众生. Okay? If you use untrue words to deceive living beings. Very stern. Don't claim to understand when you don't. Is it clear? It's very judgmental. He said, don't do that. Don't take false words to deceive. Don't use false words to deceive living beings. Okay? 自超拔舌整杀劫. If you do that, okay, you only bring upon you 整杀劫, you bring upon you, okay, being, having a tongue being ripped for aeon as many as dust and sand. It's referring to the fact that if you, this is what monks do, by the way, so be careful. This is what we do, we tend to do. We use false words. We use love. We use, we tell you things you like to hear. Okay? It's up to you. those are called untrue words. Okay, 妄语. By lying to you in the guise of Dharma. Okay? Then what happens is we will ourselves, we tell you untruth for us. This is referring to us, okay? He says, if I use untrue words as a monk, everything I told you so far, if it's untrue, because I'm a monk, that's him, not me, okay? He says, if I'm as a monk, use untrue words to deceive you, then in the future, when I die, I will fall to the hells, Avicii hells, okay? And all those hells. In particular, there's a hell where, because of my lies, okay, I will fall to a hell where they rip my tongue out, okay, and torture me by ripping my tongues out in so many ways. First, by hooks, okay, then by needles, like what happened to Xian Tong. I knew someone is missing today. Then you use acupuncture needles and you rip your tongue out. Okay? So many ways, these hells, there are many hells where your tongues are ripped out in so many ways, so many creative ways. And it hurts so much until you die. Okay, you torture to death. And then they wake you up. They revive you so that they can torture you like that again. Until you die again. And they revive you again. It's on and on and on. Non-stop. So far, so good? $228. Okay. Next time we can discuss 508, if you wish. You're so peaceful. I'm so tired. All this agitation, emphasis is tiring. Now I need to do some exercise. Okay, thank you everyone. Let's do a transference. Yeah, you don't mean it.